Alan Friedman. I'm Vice President of the Australian Jewish Association, and sitting next to me is Leon Kofmansky, a candidate in the upcoming Victorian election. He's standing for a position in the upper house. So Leon, welcome to the AJA.
Thank you, Alan.
Perhaps I can just start by asking you to tell us a little about yourself and why you're standing in the election.
Sure. So I was born in the Soviet Union, left at age 4, came to Australia, and given my background, my parents, my grandparents lived under communism. I've got children, and I don't take freedom for granted like a lot of people that have lived under authoritarian regimes and communist regimes. And I'm very determined to make sure that my children, my 2 daughters, don't have the same type of life that my parents and grandparents have. So I'm very determined to ensure that they have a secure future. And I'm, as you've mentioned in the introduction, I'm standing for the upper house with the United Australia Party. So it's the Southern Metropolitan Region. It's a wide area, so to cut a long story short, if I get elected, I'll be representing the Caulfield district along with 10 other districts, so Melbourne, Albert Park, Oakleigh, all the districts that include all the major Jewish communities across metropolitan Melbourne.
Okay, and what sort of policies are you standing on?
So we are a traditional party, so I would use the word conservative, and conservative is a misnomer, but we are a traditional party. We believe in God, we are pro-family, pro-life, and we basically want, in a nutshell, we are very much against big government. We want small government. We want government out of our lives. And more importantly, we want to give people their autonomy, their independence back. We want to ensure that parents have the right to educate their children according to their ideology and views. And more importantly, we also want to give religious schools the opportunity to practice their ideologies without government interference and educate the children in their schools according to their views. And we're very firm believers in religious freedom and civil liberties.
Now, the UAP is Clive Palmer's party, or it was. Can you just tell us a little bit about what's happened since the federal election?
Sure. So in the federal election, we were able to get 1 senator into the upper house. So out of all the minor parties, we were the most successful. Senator Ralph Babet has been in Parliament since May, and he is a very strong pro-Israel advocate, very big advocate for the Jewish community. And I would encourage people in our community to listen to his speeches, so it speaks for itself. And Clive Palmer is still very much involved in the party. So he's still very much in charge. He's very much a conservative. He believes in traditional values. He's a man of faith. He's a strong believer in God. And he's very determined to get the woke culture out of our society, as well as the cancel culture. Craig Kelly is also the national director of the party. So he used to be, as a lot of people know, he used to be a member of the Liberal Party, got disillusioned with that. And he also happens to be very pro-Israel and a big advocate for the Jewish community.
And tell us how the voting process works. I think there's 1 seat up for grabs. How does that work, and who are your competitors, and how tough is it going to be for you to get past the line?
Sure. So the Southern Metropolitan Region, there is 5 representatives. So there's 8 regions in total. Each region has around 11 districts in it. So the Southern Metropolitan Region, there's 5 main representatives who will get elected. Usually 4 out of the 5 go to the majors. So right now the composition is 2 Liberals, 2 Labor Party representatives, and 1 from a minor party, the Sustainable Australia Party. So with the minor parties, the way it works is normally the representatives get elected on the back of preferences, but the primary vote is very important. It's critical to getting in. Otherwise, if you don't have enough of a primary vote, then you'll get eliminated in the early round of of counting.
So is there basically one spot available for the minor parties? Is that how it works?
So practically speaking, yes. So each of the candidates, so I have a running mate. Each of the candidates, each of the minor parties has a running mate. And so
from the same party?
That's right, from the same party. So the objective is to get 2 in. Realistically, it would be 1.
Okay, and who's your running mate?
Julie. So her name is Julie McCamish.
Okay, and she's joining you in the same southern area, is that right?
Exactly. So we're campaigning together, we're campaigning side by side, and she has very strong traditional conservative values, and we're on the same page.
But she would be in different suburbs to you, or is she exactly matching you in the same area?
She lives in a different suburb, but she lives in the same region. So it's a very wide region, so it covers about 50 kilometres. So we're campaigning together for the same region, and best case scenario, we'll both get in, but realistically, it would be aiming to get 1 candidate in across 8 of the 8 regions.
And when we vote for the Senate, that's just a 1 for the whole Senate. How are we going to vote? How can we vote for you?
Sure. So you can vote above the line. You can vote below the line. Above the line, it will be voting directly for the party. Below the line, it's voting directly for the individual candidates.
Right.
And as I said, there's 5 in total. There's an interesting array of people that are standing for the Southern Metropolitan area. Quite a lot of characters, including Darren Hinch.
Is he? So how many candidates are there likely to be for our area?
Right now that are campaigning, I'd say a total of around 10 candidates in total.
Okay, all right. So what do you want to say to the people on the eve, if you like, of the election? How do you want them to go about voting? What can they do to help you?
Sure. So our objective, United Australia Party, is we recognise, if you look throughout history, any society that has turned its back on God, on traditional values, and has also mistreated its Jews, has basically disintegrated. From Babylon, Spain, Germany, we've seen that from time immemorial, the same thing play out. And right now we're seeing that play out in real time in Australia, in the United States. So we are determined, we have a very narrow window of opportunity with this election. This state election matters, given what has happened in the last few years with the state government and the authoritarian nature of the state government, how it's not only treated people with civil liberties, how it's curtailed civil liberties, but also how it's treated the Jewish community. So we have a very narrow opportunity to turn that around, and the way people can support, number one, we need volunteers. We need people to man the voting booths. We need people to hand out how to vote cards. We need people to do mail drops. So anything that you can do to help would be great. So we're looking for an army of volunteers to help us to turn this around, and it will be a team effort.
And how can people get in touch with you if they need to?
Sure, they can get in touch with me on Facebook. They can also get in touch on the UAP website, so that would be the best way to get in touch. There's the UAP Facebook page, the website, and my details are on there.
Okay, all right. Well, there you have it, everybody. We've got a Jewish, nice young man standing for our local area. So if you feel that the United Australia Party aligns with your thinking, then he's the man to vote for. Leon, thank you for your time. Good luck for everything, and all the best for the future.
Thank you, Alan.